Facebook family. It's Christy Saul, the co-founder of the Post+Institute, coming at you live after church. I actually took time to come all the way home. Usually I'm just so caught up that I just come at you straight from my car, sitting in the parking lot. But I wanted to try something a little different, and so today I'm actually sitting at my desk in my home office. This is where the magic happens. And so today from church, man, today in church was powerful. My pastors would be so proud because they've actually been on sabbatical, and despite the absence of their physical presence in their leadership, we have some wonderful and amazing people who just continue the momentum, and we spent a significant amount of time we talked a little bit about preparing for the new year and letting this time for the next couple of days be a great time to just reflect on 2018 and, you know, to think about where you've been and where you're at, because that's where we're starting from, right? We're starting from where we're at right now, and of course we know that where we've been has an impact on that. That's, you know, part of what we teach about in the Post+Institute is honoring that history and knowing, getting a deeper understanding of how our histories affect us all because of our neurology. And once we become aware of that, we can make some significant and amazing changes. But, you know, when we think about the New Year's, you know, we think a lot about things like weight loss and saving money and eating healthier and all those kinds of things. But a lot of times we don't set the things that are really our biggest priorities as priorities. You know, we don't stop and think about, how can I be a better parent? How can I be the parent that my child needs me to be? What kind of routines and habits do I need to put in place so that I am the leader that my family needs me to be? And maybe because I'm a little older, I just find that to be so important. And when I talk to my parents about how they view their role as parenting, it's so interesting, especially listening to my dad. He traveled a lot while I was growing up. And, you know, in this modern culture, when we hear so much about the disruption in families and infidelity and issues with spending and, you know, everybody feeling like they've been so betrayed in so many ways, when my dad talks about all these opportunities that he had while he was on the road traveling, he says, you know, I just never thought about it. I was so busy focused on, how can I take care of my 3 children and my wife? How can I make a good life for my family? Because I want to have a family. This was what I wanted. Now, what do I need to do so that I can make it an amazing experience for all of us? And that was just always his mindset, you know. I just think, wow, I don't hear stories like that very often anymore. It's so amazing and refreshing. And, you know, then I come from the blueprints of my mom, and, you know, my mom's an adoptee, and I think she was just really focused on her kids feeling loved. You know, being raised, I was born in the 60s, and so my mom sat at home taking care of the kids, and she was watching all the civil rights movements and all the protesting, and she, in her heart, she said, man, I really wanted to be there, but I kept asking myself, who's taking care of the kids? So I really come from this place of understanding, just from my entire life experience, that being a leader in your family, that is it's a very selfless job. And we live in a society right now that's very self-focused. The society trend right now is just all about accumulation of stuff and how we look in our online life, and, you know, everything is, you know, there's so much that's not real out there. There's so much. And so I just really want to encourage you guys, as you think about what you want for your family, to know that it starts with you. You know, I'm just going to be really honest. You are the parents. You are the adults. They are just children, and they need guidance at every step of the way. Oftentimes we get into a rush to get them to the next place, to get them to the next milestone, to get them to be independent. And what is so paradoxical about parenting is that it's through the process of dependence that independence is gained. Isn't that crazy? It's through the process of us being selfless that our children can then become independent. And so that's kind of the word I have today, my word from church. Be the leader that your children need you to be. Be the leader of your family. I want to mention the Post+Institute. We've got some great things that we're starting with the new year. And a lot of it happens just like this. You're watching me on the screen, but we use a lot of Zoom video conference. If you're not familiar with that, it's a great app and it's really easy to use. And so one of the things that we'll be starting in January 10th actually is our start date, is a Fear to Love book study. If you've not ever read this book, look at this. It's not thick. It's a very easy read, and actually easier even than it looks, because each chapter has maybe 2, 3, 4 pages of text, and then look, bullet points to help us go back and be able to reflect on what we read, have simple little ways that we can go back and take a look. But this book, actually, Brian wrote, and he really broke down a lot of the really complicated things that people talk about with regards to parenting children who come from traumatic backgrounds. He really breaks down the brain science and the neurology and the levels of memory, what we can do as parents. And so we're going to be starting a book study using Zoom video conference. So I'll be just like this, and you guys will be on the screen, and we'll be able to talk to each other. And it'll last, I'll just go ahead and tell you a little bit more about that. And then I'm going to read a little bit from the book today before I sign out. So the book study will last for 6 weeks. We'll meet for 6 consecutive weeks. We have a Thursday morning session, Thursday 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, and a Thursday evening, 8 o'clock. And then also on the website, I've included a little box. If those sessions don't work for you, then I'd love to hear from you guys about what would work, what kind of scheduling do we need to do so that more people can attend. Because I know we all have really busy lives, but I also know, I know for a fact that when you're walking this journey, it is so important and so helpful to have people that you walk with, that we walk it out together, you know, people that you learn with, people that you learn from, people that you can come back to and ask questions when you get in a sticky situation, you know, in a year or 2 years, that this becomes sort of a resource for you to come back to have a connection. And so, you know, whether it's with the Post+Institute, or if you've got another place that you get that kind of support, I encourage you. I mean, in part of being a leader, having a support network, having a mentor group is so important and so valuable. You know, it's like you can't just go to church and expect that word to fill you for the entire week. You have to have people you connect with. You have to have people in your friend group or your peer group, and you go back and you pray more and you read more and you delve into it if you really are serious about your growth. If you're serious about your growth, then you have to make an investment. You can't just sit and, you know, watch a Facebook Live and then go back to doing the same stuff you've been doing. That's just being honest. And so we have tried to make various opportunities for families. I know sometimes they can be expensive. So we have the Parenting Inner Circle. That's $12.95 a month. We have podcasts that you can listen to that are about, I think, about $17.95. We have this book study that we're starting. It's $165, but you're going to get 6 weeks, 6 weeks of in-depth listen and learn, and then we get to talk. You get to tell me about what's going on in your family. We can read, we can brainstorm, we can talk together about solutions, things I've tried, things other families have tried. I can tell you, it's so crazy because once you start talking and I'm listening to you and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, you know, we'll talk about some crazy things. I'm telling you, things you might not even imagine. Last book study, I'll just, you know, let's just talk about the things we talked about. Last book study, I had a family talking about these rages that their daughter kept having, and we were able to crack the code with implementing 2 things. One, we discovered just through conversation and putting the pieces together that she was having some vagus nerve issues. And how we discovered it was because she was severely constipated. Well, that's not just the kind of thing that you might just come across unless you're talking with somebody who's really very holistic and looking at the whole mind-body system. So once we kind of got the bowel system regulated, and you know, part of that was because she was really disconnected from her body, which is very common for kids who have traumatic histories. So we have to have this very holistic approach. And so we, you know, we kind of worked on some ways to get her more regular, and that was a major shift. And then we worked on some new things to help really meet the regressed needs that were being expressed through the behavior. And so in this, that all of that kind of happened within about week 4, and then week 5, week 6, and then we did a little bonus week because, well, I'm like that. And so that gave me, you know, they had 3 weeks, and then I heard from them again 6 months later, and they were continuing on this path where rages that were happening literally every day, literally an hour, 2, 3 hours at a time. We cracked the code. Wow, it was awesome. I'm so happy to hear that for that family. And, you know, just, I think maybe it was the combined energy and just, you know, other parents being present, everybody really pulling for you, you know, to be with a group that wants to hear what's really going on, and then wants to really pour into you, and then just really be pulling for your success, really be pulling for your love to be shining through, and for your kids to be able to experience the love and the kindness and the nurturing that you have, that you're waiting to give them. And so that's the book study. I'll put a link probably down in the comments so that anybody who's interested can check it out. But I'm going to read the foreword of this book, From Fear to Love, and it was written by Brian's mom. And what I love about reading this is it reminds me that we're just ordinary people, you know. Opal Post is a beautiful woman, and her now deceased husband, Billy Post, was a wonderful man, but they were just ordinary people just like you. And Brian+Post is an amazing teacher, an amazing leader, and he also is an ordinary person. And I'm an ordinary person just like you. But it's amazing what we can do when we fall in love, literally fall in love, just let love lead us in every step of the way. And so I'm just going to read the foreword, and then we'll close out for the day. As I sit reflecting on my journey as a happy, anxious prospect of becoming a mother to a child that I wanted so much, I now wonder, if I only had known then what I know now, what a difference in parenting style I would have had. I was unaware of the upcoming emotional roller coaster of being an adoptive parent. I remember how wonderful it was to hold my baby for the first time. My heart was bursting with pride. My beloved late husband, Bill, and I named our son Brian. A year later, we adopted our daughter, Christy. Although we are all now emotionally connected, the journey was filled with stress and emotional pain. We hadn't a clue about parenting children with significant emotional needs. Many years, many great challenges, and sleepless nights later, I can look back and forgive myself for things my husband and I did not know. We did our best, and I'm sure you have as well. For all the painful memories, there are many more great ones filled with laughter, pride, and thankfulness. I love my children dearly, and I always have. I'm so proud of you, my son. Through all the hell he raised as a child, he has grown into an angel. I take comfort in knowing that we intuitively did many things right. One thing he has told me before that I want to offer you is to never give up on your child. No matter what might happen and what you might go through, and it could be a lot. As long as God gives us air in the sky to breathe, there is hope. Take these words filled with wisdom, understanding, passion, and insight that my son has provided you, and go claim your child's heart. As I've said earlier, if only I had known then what I know now. My son might not have been able to offer this book to you. So I hold no regrets, only hope for you and your children. God bless Post. That's the foreword of the book From Fear to Love. This will be the book that we use as we go through our book study. That might be something as you look to what you want to do in terms of creating new habits so that you can be the leader that your family needs. Your family needs you. They need you to be at your best. They need you to fill yourself with good stuff. That's right, Amy. Never give up on your child because you don't know. You don't know their progression. And, you know, you're planting seeds. Just keep planting seeds, planting seeds. Brian calls them love weed seeds. And the reason he says weeds is because, you know, weeds will just take over. They'll take over a garden. So, you know, our book study gives us a chance to pour into one another. And so then from that, you can pour into your children and never give up. It could be a long, bumpy road, but, oh, gosh, you have no idea the great pastures of amazing goodness that you're coming upon. So with that, thank you. Thanks for being with me today. Much love to you all. Enjoy your day.